Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a tarot oracle reading and it is for the end of June. And Cancer, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Cancer, we all have Cancer somewhere in our birth chart. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Cancer in, that would give you further clarity as to your situation now. This is also a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That may give you further clarity as to your situation now. We have the Page of Cups for the underlying energy for the entire reading. So this is talking about information or communication coming in. The cups represent love in tarot. This is quite often romantic love, but it could also just be love of anyone or anything, or something you love to do or be. And the Page of Cups is representing the energy of someone has their eye on you, or you have your eye on someone. Now, the Page of Cups knows there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he has his eye on this one in this cup. And so this energy, sometimes the communication could be in the form of, this could even represent online dating. It could be a phone call, a text message, maybe, an email or a delivery of flowers or something like that. In the case of the Page of the Cups, it could also represent, you might be on social media on one of the many platforms and someone messages you, or perhaps you have something coming in the mail. It could be an invitation, that sort of thing. What else? You might go to an event that you see posted and meet someone there in person. Also pay attention to what's happening at the news, at the top of the news. If this is about something you love to do or be, there might be whatever's happening at the top of the pyramid in the news is going to affect everybody below. So the pages, they would work for the king and queen around 7 to 14 years of age. And that sounds really young, but in those days, the life expectancy was about half of what it is now. So this energy sometimes can represent when the page is bringing in information. It can be something about when you were that age, like in elementary school, high school, or just starting out in college, university, or just starting out in the workforce. That sort of someone under the age of 21. So it could be about someone that age, or it could be an energy of just feeling that age again because you've got your eye on someone, or someone has their eye on you. And then we have unfair competition. So this is talking about immature competition. This is my Mean Girls card. This is for the internal forces. So this is talking about competition that you're in. You may not even realize you're in this competition. Sometimes it has that tendency. Think of narcissistic cheerleaders, grade 6 to grade 10. They really want the trophy. They're at a competition. They could see the other team is better than them, but they want the trophy. So they'll do anything to win. If they have to cheat, they're going to cheat. If they have to trip someone, so be it. It's that sort of energy. And if they don't succeed, their mothers will do their best to pull strings behind the scenes that they do win the trophy. And as we mature, we begin to realize that when we're in competition, whether that be in sports, or if for a position at work, or whatever it is, we're not really in competition with other people. We're in competition with ourselves. Can we keep our shift together under pressure? If you can be 1% better than you were the last time you went out doing something, then you're quickly going to start progressing if that's your intention to do so. And if you're on a team and everybody on the team does that, the team is going to do much better. You're going to come out way stronger if you watch the competition and figure it out. Okay, how are they doing that? Let's work on that. Let's see if we can do that at the next competition. Look how sharp they are. Look how sharp they are together. Let's work on that. you know, if everybody had that attitude on the team, then eventually you would be the people that would be up for the, you know, would be worthy of that trophy. So it's talking about using competition to inspire you and also to learn from, rather than feeling defeated by it, or, you know, having an external force that, like the trophy, is more important than actually the skills that you're learning. And this is talking about the wounded warrior energy. This is, this bottom row here is the internal forces. And your internal forces you have control over. The internal forces are when you're saying, what if I do this and they do that? Or if they do that, what if I have to do this? It's that sort of energy. And the wounded warrior represents someone that has been doing their best to stay on their destined path. You know, being the best version they can be of themselves, doing the right thing as often as they can, that kind of energy. But you can see he's been, he's tired. He's been at it, like he's been through it. And so this is talking, the wands in tarot represent the element of fire. And this is talking about, you know, these are wood. So wood fuels the fire, and it's talking about taking passionate action. This could be actions of others towards you, or your actions towards them. He's managed to, you know, this is like planting seeds and they grow from your actions. And this can be like carrying, you know, reaping your harvest and carrying that home. But, you know, some of these could be burdens of that you're carrying for others. So the wounded warrior has been through it, but he's managing. He's got 8 wands planted, and he's working on his 9th one here. And so this is, you know, congratulations. It's not easy when you're in that position. And that's how, this is your self-image, how you feel right now, like the wounded warrior. And then this is talking about the 9 of swords. So 9 of swords energy is, you know, it can be like a never-ending nightmare. Waking up in the middle of the night, or waking up in the morning, and it's the same old shift day after day after day. And it's like you can't seem to get a shift in it. You know, it's just won't go away. And that type of energy, you know, it can feel like a never-ending nightmare. Sometimes, though, this card can represent someone waking up in the wee hours of the morning, and maybe you had a dream that you had some guidance in your dream, and you're trying to remember. Maybe your ancestors were visiting you over the night, or, you know, you had been praying and meditating, and something comes to you and you're trying to remember it. So that could be this energy as well. And then it ends the never-ending nightmare. But this is definitely like overthinking energy. It's when your mind is racing with anxiety. And quite often, if, you know, we're going into a competition, or we have something happening, it doesn't even have to be a negative thing. Sometimes we can end up in this energy. This is talking about, you know, definitely coming after this card. This is your abundance. So definitely this is having a huge effect on your ability to be able to collect your harvest, basically. So let's see here. This is the Hangman. And so the Hangman is hanging from the tree of knowledge upside down, because he wants to gain a perspective on this. Like, he hangs there until the aura is bright in his head, and then it shines, and that's when he knows, okay, now I know what I'm going to do. Sometimes this can represent stuck energy, like feeling stuck here, and it affecting, you know, every day of your life, basically. And so this could represent that this has been going on for a while, because this is communication from childhood. So you may have just found out something about your childhood, and it's causing you a great deal of anxiety. Or, you know, this could be an energy of maybe you have children and they're this, you know, that age of the page, 7, 14, 21, underneath 21 years of age, and you're worrying about them. Or, you know, it could be, you know, just wanting to gain a new perspective so that you can get out of this energy. And then we have the 10 of Cups. And so the 10 of Cups is good news. This is talking, there's a rainbow here. So it's talking about fortune after difficulty. And this is talking about, having the partner that you want and that loves you and you love them, and the happy children that you love and they love you, and the home and the neighborhood that you want, and the career, everything moving along beautifully. And this is sometimes after hardship comes this good energy coming in. So, and this is sitting in your house here, in this house of Cancer. And so, for Cancer, home life is really, really important. It is, the Cancer loves their home life so much that they actually carry it on their back. So this can sometimes be talking about you need to come out of your shell so that you can shine. And so this sometimes can represent an energy. Cancer is probably the most emotional of all the signs. It's a water sign energy. You just had that big day on June 9th where Venus and Jupiter were together in your sign on June 9th, like right on top of each other. And a lot of astrologers were saying that that is supposed to be the most fortunate day, most lucky day of the year. And you might be feeling that energy now, and maybe you're feeling like, well, so much for that, it didn't happen. I'm still stuck in this energy. Or maybe it did happen for some of you. Congratulations if it did. This could be sitting talking about that energy. But don't despair if it doesn't, astrology is like over time, basically. It's more about the energy, the potential. And so is this energy. This is about the potential. You have to move forward. You can't just hang there forever, like you're going to get a headache if you hang upside down and think about things too much before you take action. I feel that it's partly saying that. And, this is also talking about bullying energy. If the Cancer is the 4th sign in the zodiac. And quite often the energy of this immature competition, that's around that age, when young girls are, they're about to start their cycles. And their hormones, they're not used to dealing with them. So they're very up and down. If you've ever been a young girl that age, or you have raised one, you would understand, what it's like for them. It's very difficult to be at that age for young girls. They're feeling those hormones. They're very emotional. One minute they're happy, the next minute they're sad. And this is talking about learning that. And it's really interesting because quite often there'll be a lot of bullying between girls at that age. And usually it'll revolve around how people look and how they dress and all sorts of things, because everybody's trying to figure out who their identity is. But even at this, in the energy of the crab energy, if there's a bunch of crabs sitting in a bucket that are planning that someone's planning on having for supper that night, and one of the crabs tries to escape, the other crabs will grab it and try to drag it back down into the bucket. Instead of following it out, they'll pull it back down in there. So it's that type of wanting to fit in and not fitting in, or not feeling like you do. And here we have the star energy. And sometimes the reason you're not feeling like you fit in is because you're not meant to. You're supposed to be a star. You're supposed to stand out. You're supposed to shine, climb out of your shell and allow yourself to shine. Sometimes that's what this energy is saying. The star energy is being okay with being innocent, bringing your ideas down from the heavens. And the North Star energy is representing when you're in your North Node, and you shine like a star, like the star you are. So if you didn't know you're a star, now I'm telling you, that's the energy. It says so right here, and this is creativity, romance, and children. So it could be, if you're worrying about your children, it could be they don't fit in because they're meant to be a star, pouring their own energy into universal pool of water. And then you notice they're pouring this out onto the earth, and there's 5 streams here. Now we don't have a pentacle energy here as of yet, But the pentacles represent health, wealth, and happiness on the earth. And so this is about pouring your own unique qualities into the universal pool, mixing it in, and then bringing that out onto earth. It's saying it's time to shine. If you've been stuck, maybe you're overthinking things. And if you want this, you're going to have to, put yourself in there. You can't, she's got her one foot in, but she's got to get right in there, and that's what it might be saying is you're holding back. You're like, and the worst is when people are holding others back at the same time. Others are holding you back and you're holding others back. And quite often it can be like, this is a stage that a lot of people go through. But Cancer in general is the most emotional sign. And when you're in this energy, if you're in this energy, we have a moon coming up at the end of the month here, and that's going to be in the sign of Cancer. And this is actually opposed by Capricorn. Capricorn energy is on the opposite side of the horoscope wheel from you. So this energy is this full moon coming up is going to affect people more in the sign of Capricorn and Cancer. And the thing to know about that is that on the same day, Mercury goes retrograde. So Mercury is all about communication. And so communication can go awry very easily. And, this energy, quite often this energy is very emotional. And so if you're feeling really sensitive, use that sensitivity to feel the sensations you're feeling in your body, which will tell you energetically whether you're strong to doing something or you're weak to doing it. And tap into that energy. That's what this is talking about. We've got the new moon that we just went through, and that was in Gemini. And that was like, we're just easing out of that energy, and we're moving into on the 29th, as I said, this energy. But if communication is a little awry already, that's not unusual with Mercury retrograde. Quite often there will be glitches in how you speak, where people can't understand what you're saying. It's that type of energy, miscommunication, words not spoken wisely, that sort of energy. And this is also talking about here, we have the new moon energy here. And it's interesting because the new moon was in Gemini, and what is it today? I think it's the 17th. So yeah, that moon was on the 14th. So we're still feeling it. And this energy with the moon being in Gemini, is all about logical thinking, and the Sagittarius that's across the wheel from the Gemini energy is more about intuitive thinking. So if you use your logic and your intuition, you're more likely to get a creative solution. And that's what this card is talking about. This can be like having a closed mind, not wanting to really see the whole picture or not being able to. This person is leaking a lot of energy because they've got their feet turned out here. And in body language, if you sit like that, it's leaking masculine and feminine energy from your base chakra. So that's, whether you're thriving on planet Earth in the survival mode, kind of the basic needs that a human being has. And so it can be feeling very drained physically. And then also the right arm is holding the left arm back here. And this is, the right arm is representing logic and the left arm is representing intuition. Plus the heart is being protected. So it could be this type of really emotional energy that you're in. If you understand, hey, you're a Cancer, you're sensitive to begin with. But that sensitivity can be used very wisely to, come to creative solutions. You ask the logical question and then you feel, okay, which of the answers is the best one for me? And then you logically apply that to the situation. You're more likely to get a creative solution out of that. The two swords here represent that energy, this or that, my way or the highway. Sometimes that's the way it is. And this blindfold can also represent saying, hey, you need to use your third eye. You know, there's a saying, because you have eyes, you cannot see. And that sounds weird, but what it means is like, well, for one thing, human beings' eyes can only see a thin band of the full spectrum of light. And so we think we're seeing everything, but we're really not. And a lot of the times, so when people say, oh, when I see it, I'll believe it, they really actually don't see everything anyway. And it's saying that sometimes you need to turn inward and also use your third eye, your insight, instead of just your eyes, to get, you know, creative solutions as to where you want to go. And so, the underlying energy for the external forces, we have transition. This card has been coming up a lot in the readings. It's not surprising. There's a lot of transition going on the planet right now. There's a lot happening just in general, like for people. Like there's a lot of planets have moved into the sign of Aries in the last few months. And in particular, Neptune is sitting there for the next 14 years. So there's a lot of energy of doing things in new ways. And so the transition, a lot of people, when they see this card, they get afraid. The death card, no. But it's actually just talking about the end of a cycle. And this is also talking about the end of a cycle. So, you know, sometimes, and this is talking about the end of a cycle. So we've got a lot of transition happening here. Was it Aries that also had, or no, it was one of my Tattletales readings for the daily reading, where there was like 5 cards right on the get-go that were all about transition. And I feel that that's the kind of, there's a lot of change happening for a lot of people right now. And some of it is subtle and some of it is like in your face kind of energy. And so this is talking about another transition card. It's talking about a cycle coming to an end and a new cycle beginning. This is talking to the end of a cycle and a new one beginning. So is this one. And this is talking about shining. So I feel like get out of this energy and more into this energy so you can have this. If you've been stuck, this is good news. Transition is coming. So don't be afraid of this card. It's talking about death and rebirth, and it's talking about, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. We have like this older person is arguing with and trying to bribe the Grim Reaper. Hey, we don't want you coming through here. We don't want your change. But these younger people are like, yes, we do. If you've ever lived in a small town, you'll understand that. A stranger's in town. And they are like, you know, they might have something interesting to say. So this energy also is talking about staying on your destined path, and the sun is rising or setting here in between those 2 pillars on your destined path. The king here has been trampled, but this isn't talking about an actual king. This is talking about systems and government, you know, different governments changing, the systems changing, the borders around the earth changing, you know, the way people are, you know, even on like enterprise in between the countries, it's changing. There's and we had those files come out. A lot of people feel like the rug was pulled out from underneath them when they see like what's happening at the top of the pyramid. Sometimes it's like, wow, you know, a lot of times the people at the top of the pyramid are people that we really look up to, and we thought, oh, they were a certain way, and then we're finding out a lot of truth is coming out. That's happening because Uranus moved into Gemini, partly because of that. Uranus moved into Gemini about a month ago, and the last time Uranus was in Gemini was in 1941 to 1949, you know, during World War II and the aftermath of that. And so it's intense energy. There's no doubt about it. And but the thing to know about Uranus and Gemini is it wants the truth to come out. And so the truth is coming out. And that's what, I mean, the truth will set you free, even though it can be sometimes challenging to listen to or to accept. And, you know, we're going to be, Uranus is in Gemini for the next, you know, 7.5 to 8 years. Like, yes, you heard that right. So until 2033. But if you're on the right side of the law, And then this is a blessing, because it could be hard to hear, but it will be once you know the truth, then you can make strong, you can make take strong actions towards moving forward. And, if you're on the wrong side of the law, well, probably you've been caught, and you're going to have to face the consequences of your actions. So that's, you couldn't expect to get like, there's always change happening. People say that, the only two things you can count on are death and taxes, but you can count on change. Change happens every second of every minute of every day. We just don't acknowledge it until it's in our face. And then we're like, oh my gosh, what a change. It's that sort of energy. And then we have the Queen of Cups coming up. So this is promising. The Queen of Cups is talking about someone who has a lot of love. Her trophy is this cup here, and the cups in general, they can be talking about, as I said, romantic love. Sometimes that could be this, because this is partnerships, commitment, and marriage. Now, for sure, the Queen of Cups would be someone who would be the most likely to be in a traditional marriage. This is someone who, her cup, her trophy is her family and the love she has for, like, her children and her just everyone around her. She has a lid. It's her cup is like this trophy with a lid on it, representing that she is a container of unconditional love. And so there could be definitely love coming in with these two cards, and this one being in partnerships, commitments, and marriage. Having said that, if you're already married, it could just be like, hey, maybe you get back, kind of have a second romance in your marriage or whatever. More, it's for whatever reason you feel more passionate about each other again. And, it's if it's not even about that romantic kind of love, it could be, love of something you want to do or be. And now that a really beautiful opportunity comes in, someone has their eye on you because they admire your work, or that sort of energy, that someone that would back your work. And then we have the Page of Swords. So this is two pages. So definitely this energy could be talking, because this is in transition. Another card of transition here is talking about the Page of Swords. So this could be saying, the element for the Page of Swords is air. And it's, of course, like the mental intelligence and discipline of your mind. He's the only one who looks away from his element. All the other pages are very focused on their element. So this is some sort of communication coming in. This is an interesting card, because, like, the reason he has his head turned away is because he is, he already logically understands the question, and he's looking for a creative solution. So he's thinking outside the box and looking away and using his intuition. He wants to feel for the answer. So in your energy, Cancer, that's like a real positive for you, to be able to be in that energy, to use your sensitivity to be able to work for you instead of working against you with, like, mixed emotions and feeling really weepy and that type of energy. So this is talking, sometimes even it can come from inside, like it can be an aha moment. Like like I said, like sometimes this can represent you've been praying and meditating, and in the wee hours it comes to you, oh, that's what I need to do, or that's who I should call, or that sort of energy, and it just comes out of the blue. You're not really even thinking about it, and all of a sudden you've been thinking about it, but you stop thinking about it, and that's when, boom, the intuition. So stop thinking, and then boom, the intuition, feel. And the intuition will come in. And so this Page of Swords energy, is talking about some form of communication. Now, sometimes this can talk about an investigation, or it can talk about private eye energy. It can talk about technology. And with Mercury going into retrograde on the 29th, with quite often technology will go awry, and you might even be noticing this now a bit. Like yesterday, I was doing my best to get these readings out there, and uploading on YouTube is usually like 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, and it was like an hour just to upload the video. So they were having technical difficulties, and that's kind of the energy. Sometimes this can be like a private detective, or an investigation, legal or illegal. It can be hidden cameras, hidden microphones using technology, that sort of energy. This is, it's in transition. So whatever information comes in, maybe someone has been spying on you and they've been found out. Maybe they've been using technology to spy on you, and it's highly illegal, or maybe they've even been making money off of something that, like sometimes this can represent the energy of hidden cameras and hidden microphones and things like that in your home. Unfortunately, that does happen, or at work. There's cameras everywhere, and a lot of us are aware of it, but you don't really expect cameras in your own home, in your bedroom, etc. And sometimes this energy can be talking about, that sort of kind of investigation, or perhaps you have hired a private detective to look into something for you. This is talking about walking away from someone or something you love, or someone walking away from you. And so sometimes this energy here can be representing something that was fishy in your love relationship. And it's these two pages together. Now, this could be someone that you've known from when you were, elementary school, high school. This could be family or people in your inner circle that you've known under the age of 21, basically. Or it could represent someone that you haven't seen for 4 or 17 or 21 years. So just, that's just clues as to what this information or where it might be coming from. But this is definitely walking away from some sort of energy, a relationship or a business or whatever this is that you are walking away from, or someone else is walking away from it. And quite often in romantic love, this represents an energy of these two cups with a gap in between. And this energy of the gap in here can represent a third party energy that there could have been something stinky. Maybe there could be a lot going on here with the communication, technology. This can be also talking, it could be, something was very fishy about someone in your past that walked away from you, or you walked away from them. And maybe you thought, it was just about a third party energy. And then you find out, it was way more than that. There was someone that you trusted was spying on you, basically. And then because I'm picking up this energy, like this is heartbreaking energy, and it's more than just about love. Like here we have 3 swords in this person's heart. This is an external force either causing this, or you caused this for someone else, or it's generally, this is talking about an external force coming towards you is what I feel is happening here. This person may have walked away and you felt heartbroken, but hey, it was really a blessing in disguise, really, because this is the energy that's been keeping you stuck. And I feel like, look at, like we have, first of all, when you look at this, there's 3 swords in your heart. Like that's not a good energy, or someone who, walked away and this is how you felt after. But sometimes, like when you look at it again, you realize the heart is big. And so this is talking about transition happening because you find out what was going on. This is talking about your high, this is the transition and this is your higher knowledge. You may have walked away from this person, or they may have walked away from you, and now you're finding out why. This card quite often can represent this energy. And this, when you look the second time, the heart is big compared to the swords in context. So this can sometimes say that, these were not so much like swords, but more like stakes. Maybe you were dealing with a vampire, a blood-sucking energy sucker energy, And so this energy is talking about a third-party involvement in a couple sometimes, driving 2 people together, definitely with this energy. And this could be like something stinky going on then instead of someone, and they might have had their eye on you. And this is talking about potentially heartbreaking decision needing to be made. Maybe you walked away from them, or they walked away from you. And this is heart in the throat energy. So sometimes this is saying that You don't feel safe talking about it, for whatever reasons. And this also can represent the energy of gossip and slander. It can be perjury in court. It can be a lot of different energies like that. So yeah, let's keep going here. So that is in career and reputation. So this could be this energy of, it wasn't just about a love relationship, but it was way more than that. And that's why you're feeling it so intensely. And this person could have been working with people who were in competition with you in your career. And this can talk about gossip and slander and that type of energy, right, to ruin your reputation. But were they successful in doing this? I feel like you overcome this, because this is talking about this energy here. So this is in blessings that are supposed to be coming into you. And I feel like this could be really hard to hear. There's some real, what started off as like, okay, what's this about? It feels like there was a group of people that, like, look at this competition here. Quite often this can represent sibling rivalry, or people that are in your peer circle, or even in your inner circle. And we have like those 5 wands here that were fighting. You come out, because this is coming up, your blessings coming in from external forces. You come out the leader, and they're not too happy about it. They look a little bit disgruntled in the background there. But this is because you reined in your emotions and pulled them in and disciplined your mind to stay on top, and to, like, as I said, instead of giving into like the competition, learning from it. And that's what happened here. That's why you were able to stay standing here. You notice here there's 6 wands, and here there's now 9. This energy is coming to an end pretty quick here. Look at this. We have the 3 of Pentacles, or 3 of Wands here. This is basically, I feel like this is all the secrets coming out. And this is about you being damn happy that you walked away, or if they walked away from you. Whew, that was a blessing. The third party can have them. This could represent someone walking away from you, and out of this couple, and they go with the third party. Or this could be you deciding to walk away from the relationship and go out there as a single person. So in any case, you're on the precipice of change, and there's this looks like it could be sand, but it's actually water with the sun shining on it. There's ships sailing by, and you're thinking about, hey, maybe I'll get on one of them babies and go on an adventure. That's the kind of energy. This is that coming in. So keep, do your best to really rein in those emotions that you're feeling. Because for like this moon, of course, coming up is in your sign. And so you could be really feeling this energy. And as I said, this is kind of more like fire sign energy here, taking those emotions and using them to work towards pushing you into this energy. This definitely is saying that you've been stuck for a while here, but open your mind up to the possibilities. And if you've been feeling like there was something like, fishy about your love life, but there was also something more than that to it, I would say, yes, you could be right here. I feel like this energy might have been, working with the competition to keep you down, to keep you anxious, keep you out of your star energy. Why? Well, it's really interesting. This reading has 0 pentacles in it. I just noticed that. So this is interesting because generally you would see pentacles here with this type of energy. So it wasn't about pentacles so much, not for you anyway. This is more, wow, this is more like an ownership thing, like my way or the highway. This is like someone who doesn't want you to love anyone else, doesn't want you to have that, ability to enjoy someone else's company on that level. And this is not just physical, this is spiritual. There's not one pentacle involved here. This is someone who's feeling very emotional and wanting to keep you in this energy. Let's keep going here and let's take a look here. I'm going to use this. My oracle is Tales from the Vector. And this energy, I started this oracle in 2007. In 2020, I completed all 64 paintings. The numbers on these cards represent the energy of, or they're the paintings as they're listed in the gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. If you want to take a look, you can. I will put these in the description box below. And then you'll be able to, I'm just going to push this up because I have a feeling you're going to be, yeah, that might be a little bit better. This reading is a little askew, sorry. I've been changing from one reading to another. And let me just take a look here to make sure we can maybe fix this. Oh, it's not too bad. There we go. All right. So we have the foolhardy. This is talking about moving forward. I feel like this energy, when you find out what's going on, it's going to be really hard to hear, maybe if you've been in this position. But after that, you'll be going on. You can anticipate a way better future. Shooting star is talking about everything you wish for. That's kind of this energy here. And it's also having a strong attitude. It's talking, I feel, about the energy of this energy here, of this energy being my way or the highway, working with the competition, all of that, and it's draining your energy from your base chakra, as I said. So this is about keeping your mind open and praying and meditating. Like use that sensitivity to really be able to feel and pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. We have the Hierophant. This is definitely some sort of, the Hierophant brings down justice from the spiritual realm down to the physical. And I feel this is almost this has definitely affected your pentacle energy, your health, wealth, and happiness on the 3D. But that's not the overriding concern here. The overriding concern is this person, for whatever reason, feels that they own you. It's that kind of energy. Like if you're not going to be with me, you're not going to be with anyone. It's that kind of energy, and it's almost like they want your destiny on top of it. This is more of a spiritual. There's not one pentacle in this reading here, and then we have perception. The grass is greener on the other side. Maybe they felt like, hey, all you have to offer is you're in this energy of unconditional love, and they mistook your kindness for being like a patsy that they could, they could get what they want in that energy, and there was someone better to make money with. The grass was greener, but now they're finding out they're a fake, basically. And then we have father figures here. If they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. So if this is the energy that, this person has been in, that's what they're finding out. Eventually you'll find that out. If you're in that energy, and especially with the energy the way it is these days. It's been coming up in every reading. It's just like, and it's going to be that way for the next 7.5 to 8 years. I'm like, all right, a truth a day keeps the devil at bay. This is talking about father figure energy. This could be talking about someone that you looked up to as a father figure involved in this, or this could actually be a father of your children, or you could be the father of children. And it's about turning princes into frogs, Prince Charming not being actually who you thought Prince Charming was. So in case you're kissing a someone you think is a prince, and they're turning into a frog before your eyes. We have worldly and otherworldly desires. That's what I was picking up, because this is spirituality, and this is about wanting, like, this is about ownership. That's the word I'm talking about. And like, as if you don't have permission to go after your authentic desires, like, you're not allowed to do that. They can do that, but you're not allowed to do that. They want to own you. You're a source of power for them. And like, this is like an energy vampire. That's why you're still, this energy of being stuck sometimes, not being able to take action because someone is trying to, like, what do bats do? They hang upside down when they sleep, right? So this could be that kind of energy of a vampire energy. And then we have, it's like that kind of energy when they walk into the room, you just feel like exhausted after, like just totally drained. That's this energy here. And abuse of power, definitely. So the thing about abuse of power is a lot of times people don't even realize they're abusing it, or that they're being abused by power because they're just used to it. Power is, a great elixir. A lot of times, if you haven't had power over something or someone, and then all of a sudden you feel that you do, you don't really know how to deal with that power. And we see that happen a lot to a lot of people. And it also can talk about if you're in a situation where someone is abusing you, and you give your power to them, then you become part of that abuse, and that can be really challenging to heal from that kind of energy. We do have Virgo here, which is talking about your daily routine and habits and that sort of energy. And this is talking about, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is about communication. So this is be very careful how you talk to yourself and how you talk to others right now. Because Virgo energy, they're very good at analytical critique. They can find, when something's out of order, and this is ruled by health, and that's what this is. Your daily routines, your scheduling of your day, and routines being broken or the same day after day like this. It can also be about your wealth. And so this is, analytical critique can turn into anal criticism pretty quickly. And Virgos have a tendency to do that to themselves. That's just the way they're very sharp sometimes with that energy. And they're used to being super analytical all the time. That's how, like, they notice when things are out of order. It's the first thing they'll notice. And it's also cleanliness is next to godliness. I want to point out that when the energy of any of my horoscope signs comes in, I'm not talking about specific people. In this reading, you could feel, oh no, like that's how it is for me, but this person was a Virgo or that person was a Virgo. That could be true for you, but I want you to understand that's not my intention. I would rather we learn from each of the signs. Every sign has its strengths and weaknesses, and we can learn from all of them. If you ever want something critiqued and really do want it critiqued, take it to a Virgo and they'll be able to tell you what is right or wrong about it. It can be very beneficial. We have the manifester. The manifester energy is talking about being able to manifest from your sacral chakra. So this is definitely manifesting at a different level with the transition coming in here. There's a lot of transition in this reading, so it's talking about that. Look at having the courage to face your shadow side, to understand how you approach love and how it affects you and how it affects others. It's that type of energy, being able to really look at your shadow side and having the courage to do so. We have pride. That's like an all or nothing energy. And sometimes, when people break up, sometimes really, like, they're both happy about it, but their pride suffers, right? And so sometimes people have this all or nothing attitude, and I feel that very much here. This is a karmic space that, it can lead to, if someone has desire, wants something that belongs to you, and that's happens to be your soul, you know, your destiny, then they can get caught up in a lot of different karmic spaces. And that's kind of what this is. Yeah, and look at, there's a transition. When they walked away or you walked away, that was the best day. That was the best thing for you. If it was really hard, no matter what, it still was. That's when the world changed. And you being able to, get to start healing your heart so that you can move forward and move back into your star energy and go after this instead of being stuck. This is talking about you stay stuck until that happens. And then we have falling and failing in love is a matter of I. You have to love yourself enough to be able to, let go, like get to the point where you're not hanging on to this energy and protecting your heart so that you don't ever allow love to come back in your life again. And then we also have, so there's a lot of, we have the usual suspects, which are, astrological influences and tactics being used and that sort of energy. But we also have, these major accomplices. And one of those is mother's worry, which is quite often talking about, like the greatest weakness for any child is a mother's worry. Worry, you may have noticed when you're in this energy, it doesn't do a damn thing except make you even more tired. But I feel like this card has been coming up in a lot of the readings, and I feel this is people feeling this. You're not the only one feeling this. A lot of people are feeling this kind of anxious energy because of the way the world is right now. There's so much happening and it's intense energy. There's no doubt about it. So be good to yourself is what this is saying. Sometimes falling and failing in love is a matter of I, because you have to love yourself enough to look after yourself in this energy and heal so that you can heal from it and move into what you really want. All right. I do hope this has been of benefit to you. I learned a lot from it, Cancer. I hope you have as well. Please do give it a like and comment, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. Thank you so much. Bye for now.